Welcome back to the Situation Room. I'm Wolf Blitzer at CNN election headquarters in New York. Some say it's a nasty insult from a Democrat. Others say it concerns a nasty distortion from Republicans. Today in our strategy session, we'll have more on John Kerry's words about Iraq and his new apology over the matter. Joining us now, Terry Jeffrey. He's the editor of the conservative publication Human Events Online, and CNN political analyst and Democratic strategist James Carville. James, I'll start with you, and I'll reread the statement from John Kerry that he just released, at least part of it. I want to make it clear to anyone in uniform and to their loved ones, my poorly stated joke at a rally was not about, never intended to refer to any troop. I sincerely regret that my words were misinterpreted to wrongly imply anything negative about those in uniform, and I personally apologize to any service member, family member, or American who was offended. You just heard John Boehner, the Republican majority leader in the House, say, case closed. He accepts John Kerry's apology, and we can now move on. What say you?
Well, he refused to apologize before he apologized. No, I think the public looks at this and everybody's trying to rerun the 2004 presidential race, and I think people are about to throw up at this, and they want it about what's happened in 2006. I agree with Congressman Boehner, and Cynthia Kerry flubbed the line. It was mistaken, but I don't think this is going to have any effect on the electorate at all. John Kerry's not even running for office this year.
Terry, what do you think?
Well, look, yesterday was Halloween, Wolf, and I think what John Kerry did was pull the mask off the Democratic Party. The Democrats have been trying to masquerade in this election season as a party that can be trusted on national security and national defense. And while I think that not all Democrats feel the way John Kerry does about the military, I think some of the Democratic elite do. And I'm glad he apologized, but I think John Kerry revealed what he really does believe about the military. He's been saying these things for years, starting from 1971 when he testified in the Senate Foreign Relations Committee that his former combat colleagues in Vietnam were systematically committing war crimes on a day-to-day basis with the knowledge of their chain of command. So John Kerry has a long history of this, and the leadership of his party has a long history of not being supportive of the military.
I know, James, you want to respond to that.
I have to. Well, John Kerry was served in the United States Navy with bravery, was one of the most decorated people in Vietnam. Everybody understands that. He has a 100% rating when it comes to veterans. So John Kerry, I agree with him. Nobody needs to question John Kerry's patriotism at all. I might remind Terry and everybody watching this show that when it came to serving in the National Guard, President Bush couldn't run. Now, we can end this discussion now as an attack on John Kerry's patriotism.
All right, I want you to both, hold on, Terry, hold on, because Suzanne Malveaux is our White House correspondent. She's getting some reaction to John Kerry's apology from officials at the White House. Suzanne, what are they saying?
I just talked to Dana Perino, the Deputy White House Press Secretary, and she says this to me. She says that Senator Kerry's apology to the troops for his insulting comments came late, but it was the right thing to do. Our military is the best and the brightest, the most courageous and professional of any military in the world, and the President is honored to be their commander-in-chief. As you know, Wolf, this comes after 2 days the White House has been able to exploit this controversy. Many Republican strategists we've spoken to, as well as those inside the White House, really believe that John Kerry personified what they saw as weakness on the war on terror, specifically with Democrats, and that they were able to use that to their advantage very close to the midterm elections.
All right, sounds, thank you, Susanna. Terry, it sounds like the White House is ready to move on as well.
Well, look, I think it's good that John Kerry apologized, and I didn't question his patriotism, but I did say he was anti-military, and his history is long and clear on this, Wolf. Again, he went into the Senate Foreign Relations Committee in 1971 with prepared testimony and said that our troops in Vietnam were on a day-to-day basis committing war crimes with the knowledge of the chain of command. I think his slip the other day yesterday was of a piece with that point of view. I think it consistently represents John Kerry saying and doing things that are anti-military.
James, I know you want to respond. I know you.
He's the only person that served in the military and is a decorated war hero that's anti-military. I mean, come on, let's move on to something else. We fought this thing in 2004.
You know what, James? And there's also another piece to this. If you look at what John Kerry's been saying out on the campaign trail, he wasn't looking at Tuesday's congressional elections. He's looking at running for president again. He's trying to position himself for the hard left anti-war base of the Democratic Party. Quite frankly, he's trying to get around to the left of Hillary Clinton on the Iraq War. He's going to be an anti-Iraq war Democratic candidate, and that's the way he's been talking this way, and he hurt his own party because he went overboard yesterday.
Go ahead, James.
Next, there's nothing left to say. That he served in a decorated combat veteran while George Bush was cutting and running from the National Guard. Let's move on to the next topic. We discussed that in 2004.
We're going to move on to the next topic the next time because we're all out of time right now. But, guys, thanks very much for coming in, James Carville and Terry Jeffrey. Appreciate it. Up next, it was the issue that got Bill Clinton